Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Bessie Center and to Players de Knock's stage reading of 10 November, marking the 50th anniversary of the sinking of the Edmund Fitzgerald.
The video you're about to watch is from on board the Cason J. Callaway, docked here in Escanaba at North Shore Marine.
We want to thank both North Shore Marine and Great Lakes Fleet Incorporated, who honored Players de Knock by allowing us to board and explore the Callaway so we could get a sense of what it is like to be on board an ore boat like the Mighty Fitz and the Callaway during their many years of service on the Great Lakes.
One, two, 1, 2. Listen, adversary, coming after me. Listen, adversary, coming after me. Sticking my knife in the top of the tin, I hear your body rattling in the wind. Oh, coming after me. I can hear the rumble in the western sky. Sounds like a bunch of rocks coming down on the drum. I hear the sparrow in the underpass, leave it rolling in the busted glass. Oh, coming after me. Look at the traffic, won't you look at the traffic, starting to flow, starting to flow, coming after me. Look at the paper coming out of the alley, swirling around, coming after me. Look at the traffic, won't you look at the traffic, starting to flow, coming after me. Look at the paper coming out of the alley, starting around, swirling around, coming after me. cries cries of the children mingle with the barking of the dogs. And down below the factory, the water's lapping at the logs. Listen, adversary. Listen, adversary. Listen, adversary. Coming after me.
Hi, I'm Jeff Werpel, the director of 10 November, coming to you from the wheelhouse of the J. Callaway, which is docked at North Shore Marine in Escanaba. We want to thank both North Shore and the Great Lakes Fleet Incorporated for allowing us to have access to the Callaway as we try and get a feel for what it was like on an oarboat and what kind of a storm it would take to sink a ship this size. We also want to thank Players and Knox show sponsors for the 2025-26 season. Rick and Glennie's Hull, Sioux Falls Area Community Foundation, the Bay College, J.R. Boardman, the Calumet Theater, Chris Perryman, Wendy Pepin, and the Sprague Family Fund. This is a stage reading of the script. Similar to a radio broadcast, the actors will have scripts in their hands. "50 years ago tonight, at this very moment, Lake Superior is experiencing one of the worst storms in recorded history. The captain of the Edmund Fitzgerald described it as the worst seas he had ever seen. The storm was a blizzard, wrapped in a hurricane. 40 to 50 knot winds, 20 to 30 foot waves, waves that may have been as tall as a 4-story building. By early evening on November 10th, the mighty Fitz, the largest ship on the Great Lakes at the time, at 729 feet long, had topside damage, railings were down, water was coming in over the sides, and both water pumps were damaged and could not keep up with the water. She had a list to the right, had lost all radar, while at the same time the storm had knocked out the beacon at Whitefish Point Lighthouse. They were running blind and injured.
Around 7:10 that evening, the Arthur M. Anderson reached out with this call to the Fitzgerald.
By the way, Fitzgerald, how are you making out with your problems?
The captain of the Fitzgerald responded,
"We are holding our own."
It was her last broadcast. A snow squall came up, and the Edmund Fitzgerald disappeared from sight and then radar, going down suddenly with all hands, 17 miles northwest of Whitefish Point and safety. Her final resting place is in 532 feet of water, split in two. The stern is resting upside down, and 160 feet away, the bow on its keel. The final moment happened so fast, no distress call was ever given. Ladies and gentlemen, we ask for a moment of silence as we pass through the time of 7:10 and what is happening at this moment 50 years ago.
Marine casualty report, SS Edmund Fitzgerald sinking in Lake Superior on 10 November 1975 with loss of life.
The search results.
20 cork life preservers.
8 oars.
1 piece of a sounding board. There are no chalk markings on the sounding board.
1 large built-up wooden fender block with line.
13 life rings.
1 piece of a life ring.
1 wooden stool.
Fitzgerald, this is the Anderson. Do you read me?
Anderson, this is the Fitzgerald.
This is the Anderson. Have you picked up the gale warnings the Weather Service just posted? Over.
This is the Fitzgerald. Roger.
Fitzgerald, I'm thinking of taking the northern track. Get close to the north shore for shelter in case it really starts to blow. Over.
I'm thinking the same. I'm steering 65 degrees for Isle Royal.
1 heaving line.
1 step ladder.
1 rudder from a lifeboat.
1 floodlight.
Anderson, this is the Fitzgerald. I have sustained some topside damage. I have a fence rail laid down, 2 vents lost or damaged, and a list. I am checking down. Will you stay by me until I get to Whitefish?
This is the Anderson. Charlie on that. Do you have your pumps going?
Yes, both of them.
1 spray bottle, white, marked pilot house window.
1 broken extension ladder.
Pieces of assorted debris. 2 25-man inflatable rafts.
The entire number 2 lifeboat severely damaged.
Anderson, this is the Fitzgerald. I have lost both radars. Could you provide me with radar plots till we make Whitefish Bay?
Charlie on that, Fitzgerald. We'll keep you advised of your position.
The remains of the number 1 lifeboat. It has been torn in half.
Grand Array, this is the Fitzgerald. Is the Whitefish beacon operative? Over.
Negative, Fitzgerald. We've had power failure. Both the Whitefish beacon and the light are inoperative.
The upright bow section, approximately 276 feet long.
The inverted stern section, approximately 253 feet long.
Fitzgerald, this is the Anderson. Our radar shows you 15 miles ahead of us and just a shade to the left.
I want to be 2 to 2.5 miles off Whitefish Point.
The debris of the disintegrated midship structure.
Fitzgerald, this is the Avafors. I have the Whitefish light now, but still am receiving no beacon. Over.
Don't allow nobody on deck!
What's that, Fitzgerald? Unclear. Over.
I have a bad list. Have lost both radars, and I'm taking heavy seas over the deck.
The 2 sections rest approximately 170 feet apart.
It's one of the worst seas I've ever been in.
At a depth of 530 feet.
Fitzgerald, this is the Anderson. Have you checked down?
Yes, we have. Over.
Fitzgerald, we're about 10 miles behind you and gaining about 1.5 miles an hour on you.
Despite the intensive search, no survivors were found.
Fitzgerald, there's a target 19 miles ahead of us.
Nor were any bodies recovered.
So the target is 9 miles on ahead of you.
Because there were neither witnesses or survivors, and because of the complexity of the hull wreckage.
Well, am I going to clear?
The actual final sequence of events,
Yes,
culminating in the sinking of the Fitzgerald,
he's going to pass to the west of you.
Cannot be determined.
Whatever the sequence, however, it is evident that the end was so rapid and catastrophic that there was no time to warn the crew, to attempt to launch lifeboats or life rafts,
To don life jackets.
By the way, Fitzgerald,
Or even to make a distress call.
how are you making out with your problems?
The 29 crewmen on board are missing and presumed dead.
We are holding our own.
It is recommended that no further action be taken and that this case be closed.
I have this fascination with loss. I have this obsession with disappearance. The lake, she is an icy magician. I did not know them as individuals. I've read the books and heard the song and seen the list of names. But the names do not make the faces appear. They remain a group of working men made fallible by fate. Each November 10th, I go to the memorial service. I hear the bells chime. I hear the names read. I see the flowers and rage thrown on the water. I was in that storm, 10 miles behind them. The lake, she's a curious god. Disappearances can be deceiving.
On behalf of the Northwestern Mutual Life Insurance Company, proud owners of this new vessel, the Ogilvy Norton Company of Cleveland, who have chartered it, and their Columbia Transportation Division, who will manage it, I welcome you here to River Rouge, Michigan today. The eyes of the Great Lakes are upon us as we christen and launch the largest vessel ever put on these freshwater seas. 729 feet long, with a 75-foot beam and a capacity of 26,000 gross tons. May God grant this vessel and its men strength. May the lake grant this vessel and its men her grace. It is now my pleasure to introduce the chairman of the board of Northwestern Mutual, who will officially christen the boat that will proudly bear his name. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Edmund Fitzgerald.
It's by far the cleanest, the clearest, and the coldest of the lakes. So deep we didn't see its base until 15 years after we walked on the moon. The Chippewa called it Kichigami. Longfellow dubbed it the shining big seawater. To the sailors, it's known as the graveyard of ships.
Show us on the map, please.
When you're on the lake, you don't tell another captain how to do his job. If he confirms that, yeah, he's in danger, you help him out. But you don't get on the radio. The radio's a public thing. You don't get on there and speculate about another man's boat. Some things are unspoken. You got your own business to tend to. You got the weather to wrestle with, and you got your pride. It was bright, unseasonably warm. The Fitzgerald, with an experienced and respected captain, first mate, and crew, pulled out of Duluth Superior at 2:15 on 9 November, headed for Detroit. My ship, the Arthur M. Anderson, pulled out of Two Harbors, Minnesota at 3:30 p.m., headed for Gary, Indiana.
Show us on the map, please.
We got the gale warnings 10 minutes later and decided, the captain of the Fitz and me, to take the northern route. We'd hug the shore of Isle Royal and head toward the Slate Islands, turn north, south past Otter Head, and come between Michigapoten and Caribou Islands and into Whitefish Bay. This was pretty common in bad weather to avoid the dangers of the midsection of the lake. At about 3 a.m. on the 10th, the Fitz, being the faster of the two boats, overtook us, and we followed her at a distance of about 17 miles. Now, the danger in coming past Caribou is a shoal that extends north and east of the island. It's known as 6 Fathom Shoal, 6 fathoms being 36 feet. So a boat like the Fitzgerald, which sat 27 feet in the water, had a clearance of only 9 feet. And in rough seas with the boat heaving and pitching, that number could easily be cut in half.
Continue with the story, please.
Coast Guard chart LS9, which indicates the shoal in which we all use to navigate around the island, had not been updated since 1912. It was discovered during the Fitzgerald investigation that the shoal extended further out from the island than any of us knew.
Please do not digress. The story.
At 3:20 p.m., the Fitz went through the 6 Fathom Shoal. We received the distress call at 3:35.
Anderson, I have sustained some topside damage. I have a fence rail laid down, 2 vents lost or damaged, and a list. I am checking down. Will you stay by me till I get to Whitefish?
In a storm, speed is all. By slowing down to allow us to catch him, the Fitzgerald ran the risk of being swallowed by the trough of the wave. I asked Captain McSorley if he had his pumps going.
Yes. Both of them.
These pumps, which can pump a combined total of 32,000 gallons per minute, will empty any water from up top, which has found its way down into the ballast tanks. But if you got water coming into the cargo hold down below, that's another matter. These aren't battleships, they're just motorized barges. The bulkheads that divide the cargo hold are not watertight, and the cargo hold cannot be pumped. So, although she's built to take a lot of water up on her spar deck, it's said that a pencil hole down in her hull will sink her.
Please continue.
The men know this about the ship.
Captain Cooper.
The company knows this about the ship.
Please continue.
The Coast Guard knows this about the ship. The Fitzgerald called again at 4:15.
Anderson, I have lost both radars. Could you provide me with radar plots?
It was during this time that the captain of the Avivores, while talking to the Fitzgerald on the radio, claims they heard the Fitzgerald captain shout something to someone.
Don't allow nobody on deck!
At 7:10, we informed him of a vessel 9 miles ahead of him.
Well, am I going to clear?
We told him the vessel would pass to the west of him. We asked how he was making out with his problems. He responded with his final broadcast.
We are holding our own.
At 7:15 in the wheelhouse, we looked for him on radar.
We've lost him.
We looked from the window of the wheelhouse.
I've got the lights of 3 upbound ships.
The Nanfree, the Benfree, and the Avifors.
They are approximately 17 miles ahead.
I've got nothing 10 miles ahead where the Fitzgerald should be.
He may have had a power blackout. Look for a silhouette.
Nothing.
We tried the radio.
Fitzgerald, this is the Anderson. Over.
No reply.
Fitzgerald, this is the Anderson. Do you read? Over.
Nothing. We thought our radio may not be working.
William Clay Ford, this is the Anderson. Over.
The Ford anchored at Whitefish Bay heard us loud and clear.
Have you seen the Fitzgerald pull into the bay?
Negative.
Have you had radio contact with the Fitzgerald?
Negative.
I've got something on radar.
A blip appeared where the Fritz should be.
Gone now.
There again.
Gone.
You got sea return.
Sea return. Waves so high, they're picked up on radar as solid objects. My men stared at the screen, stared at the storm. In the pilot house, there was silence. At 7:39, I called the Coast Guard station at Sault Ste. Marie on Channel 16, the emergency frequency.
Switch to channel 12, Anderson. Leave channel 16 clear.
I did this and received no reply on Channel 12. 15 minutes later, I tried again.
Sioux Control.
I told them we had lost the Fitz visually and on radar. They seem unconcerned.
Anderson, there is a 16-foot outboard missing in that vicinity. Could you keep an eye out?
At 8:32, I called again.
Sioux Control.
Sioux Control, this is the Anderson. I am very concerned with the welfare of the steamer Edmund Fitzgerald. He was right in front of us, experiencing a little difficulty. He was taking on a small amount of water, and none of the outbound ships have passed him. I can see no lights as before and don't have him on radar. I just hope he didn't take a nosedive. At 9 p.m., we pulled into Whitefish Bay and were asked by the Coast Guard to reverse course, sail back into the storm, and join the other commercial boats in the search for the Fitzgerald. We did so without hesitation. The only Coast Guard vessel that was operational was 300 miles, or roughly 24 hours away. As we sailed back into the storm, one of my men made his last will and testament. The search lasted all night. We returned with half a lifeboat. That's all. By this time, the Fitzgerald had been at the bottom of the lake for 12 hours, having submerged in roughly 10 seconds.
You have stated he went in close to the island.
The National Transportation Safety Board investigation, May 1977. Rear Admiral Winfit W. Barrow.
You have stated, I am positive in my own mind he went over 6 Fathom Bank. That is a rather positive statement. Did you believe that to be true?
I still believe that as far as the small-scale chart was concerned, that is what I was using.
You believe that to be true at the time you stated it?
if that chart says 36 feet, and the Corps of Engineers are right, or whoever it was that got that, then he went over a 36-foot area.
You believed at the time you made this that he went over a 36-fathom bank?
Yes, I do.
And further on in the transcript, it says, I know damn well he was in on that 36-fathom spot. And if he was in there...
6-fathom spot.
What?
6-fathom, not 36-fathom.
Yes. And if he was in there, he must have taken some hell of a seas. That is an accurate description of what you stated at the time?
I believe so.
And you believed that to be true at the time you stated it?
Yes, I do.
And the third part of the transcript says, we were concerned that he was in too close, that he was going to hit that shoal off Caribou.
The shoal water that extends out from Caribou? Yes.
In earlier testimony before this investigation, you had concluded that the Fitzgerald was perhaps some 4 or 5 miles off Caribou. Would you care to comment on what appears to be a contradiction between these two positions here?
All we could do is give you what we hauled down as an impression. It was my impression, definitely, that he was closer than I wanted to be.
And did you communicate this to the Fitzgerald?
I drowned when I was 8. Almost 8, almost drowned. We were with my cousins in Akron, not Ohio, Akron, Colorado. And I was swimming in the public pool, in my cousin's public pool in Akron, and there were 3 of us. And my dad was down in the deep end, and it was maybe July or August.
Captain Cooper, did you communicate this to the Fitzgerald?
You don't tell a man how to run his ship. You get your iron ore across the lake on time, and you keep your mouth shut.
The leather jacket to Danny. The books and records to Sarah. Toss the white album on the water. The dog to Dad. Sorry, Dad. And this letter to be read by my son 20 years from this day and not a moment before. My dear Joshua, I speak to you in the midst of a great storm on Lake Superior. The Edmund Fitzgerald has been lost. My ship, the Arthur M. Anderson, is now headed back into the storm to search for her. The seas continue to build. We have green water on deck. Will be my last voyage, I am certain. As I fight this storm, you lie in a crib in Duluth. Months ago, you left the water and entered the world. We are now passing each other. I have nothing left to give you, son, that I haven't given you already. My guts, my brains, my bald spot. You will have no more of my time, my laughter, my face. You will only have my heritage. I will father you from within.
They call me Lake Superior and many other names. They say my deed will be lost, that I'd steal anything from a little wedding ring.
I'm baking a pie. My pies are legendary. My pies can launch ships and settle global conflict. They disappear like summer and linger like perfume. My pies. There's an opera singer in the next room, an aria from Aida. I'm peeking in the oven when I hear the song become a scream. I slam the oven, scream. I rush to the door, scream. Locked, scream. I reach for my key to the door and it has become a huge brass ring with hundreds and hundreds of keys. Scream. I begin to try the keys, scream. One by one, scream. At that moment where the mind realizes that it will have to try every single key on the ring, the fourth key opens the lock. I'm elated. Scream! I throw open the door. I discover another room, and across this room, another door. Another scream! The entire room is covered at depth of 5 feet with keys. Scream! I begin to push my way through the keys, grabbing at huge handfuls of them. I'm halfway to the door when the ceiling opens up and a barrage of keys falls into the room, burying me. Holding my breath, I struggle to the door. Scream! With my hand, I feel the door. The scream stops. The door opens on its own. My head emerges from the keys, and I view the other room. It's my kitchen. I open the oven. I hear an opera singer. I remove the pie. An aria from Aida. I slice the pie. Scream. I slice. Scream. I.
I'm not asking you to believe me.
I'm just asking you to listen.
The Coast Guard report mentions an unidentified object.
The topside damage could have been caused by the vessel striking an unidentified object in the heavy seas. Both the reduced visibility from the snowstorm and the radar malfunction would, in the opinion of the Marine Board, have reduced the likelihood that the crew of the vessel could have detected the object in sufficient time to take effective action to avoid it.
Unquote.
We really only know 2 things.
The Edmund Fitzgerald was visible on radar one moment.
And the next moment it was gone.
I'm not asking you for money.
Just asking you to listen.
29 men.
A 729-foot boat.
A 29-hour journey?
Look at the numbers.
29, 29, 29.
A synchronicity of facts.
Why did we find all the equipment?
Why did the ship's radar give out?
Why did all the other ships on the same lake in the same storm make it safely to port?
Look at the numbers.
2, 9, 2, 9, 2, 9.
11.
The number of the occult.
11th what?
11th month.
The gales of November.
30 days of autumn and rage.
Look at the facts.
Why never a body found?
Not a bone.
Not a shoelace.
Why in the entire recorded history as Lake Superior has nobody ever washed ashore?
I'm not asking you to help them.
I'm just asking you to listen.
These men are not missing and they are not dead.
These men were abducted.
There are pockets of the cosmos that we will never understand.
That upon entry, your departure is assured.
These pockets are the passageway to the alien world.
And we must never try to enter.
And the lifeguard had white stuff on his nose and green trunks. And I had yellow trunks like my dad's, and my cousins had trunks, and I don't remember the color. And the lifeguard was talking and laughing with his girlfriend who had a 2-piece red suit on and long legs. And I was ready to jump in.
I believe these pockets in our culture are multiplying.
The aliens love our country.
They lie in wait for us.
They thrive on our Americanism.
They feed on our capitalism, man.
They depend on our fascination with the disposability of human life.
I'm not asking you to change.
Just asking you to listen.
Listen carefully.
It may have been them you heard.
The report mentions an unidentified object.
Be on guard.
A people whose primary aims are driving, shopping, and television are subject to terrorism at any time.
Things don't just disappear.
Something takes them.
You should remember that if you'd have stood her up, the Fitz would have been the tallest tallest building in the Midwest. The 530 feet of water she sank in was not nearly as deep as she was long. And I don't mean to say she sank. She was torn in half. Everybody's got a theory. The men who worked the Lakers think she took on water from down below through a gash in her hull. The gash, they say, came from shoaling off Caribou Island. The Coast Guard, some of whom are so damned educated they're stupid, claim she took on water from above through hatch covers that were damaged or not closed tightly. Hell, there's even those nutheads who think she met up with aliens who sunk the ship and made off with the crew. The lake must get a kick out of these stories. It's simple, really. At 7:15 on 10 November, the Fitzgerald got hit by the Three Sisters.
Findings of fact, item 4, page 18, weather. A storm, which was described by a National Weather Service forecaster as, quote, a typical November storm, unquote, was generated over the Oklahoma Panhandle on 8 November, and by 0700 on 9 November, this well-defined storm was located over south central Kansas, moving to the northeast.
When you're in a storm, you can look for about every 7th wave to be the big one. Your ship is designed to weather this.
The storm intensified rapidly as it passed over east central Iowa, and by 1900 hours on 9 November, it had an average speed of advance of 37 knots. At this time, the National Weather Service issued gale warnings for all of Lake Superior.
But you should remember that these are not lakes. These are the world's 8th sea. Their bottom is littered with the wreckage of 6,000 ships. The men know this. The company knows this.
Page 19. The National Weather Service revised the forecast at 22:39 on 9 November.
The Coast Guard knows this.
Predicting easterly winds 32 to 42 knots, rain and thunderstorms, waves 5 to 10 feet increasing 8 to 15 feet Monday.
On 9 November 75, the Fitzgerald had been permitted to make one final trip with the stipulation that it undergo significant repairs before the 76th season.
Wave heights refer to the distance from peak to trough and are known as significant wave height.
It's not that the companies are unconcerned with safety.
The actual distance from peak to trough of the highest wave could be as much as twice the significant wave height.
But safety doesn't get the bills paid. They do manage to put a couple lifeboats on every ship. No sailor will think that those lifeboats will do them any good. They're not meant to be life-saving devices. They're known in the trade as psychological factors. Know this, when you sail that lake in that month, you're living on the razor. You're in the wheelhouse. You're sitting 80 feet above the front of the ship. You've lost both radars, which means you have to rely on the radio beacon from Whitefish Point. The Whitefish beacon is not working. You don't have a fathometer, which means to tell you how deep of water you're in. One of your men has to go out on the spar deck in the blizzard and drop a hand lead into the water, Mark Twain style.
Page 20.
You've got wind gusts of 60 miles an hour, and you've got green water coming over the deck.
The storm center passed over Lake Superior.
Not spray.
With winds increasing rapidly.
Green water.
35 to 50 knots from the northwest.
You're falling deeper into the water after each wave. The prow of the ship fighting harder each time to regain surface. You've been on the lake 29 hours. And now, she's getting tired of playing with you. Behind your ship, the three sisters are building. The three sisters are part of the lake's mythology. 3 huge consecutive waves.
At 1639, the National Weather Service revised the forecast,
They will hit your ship one right after the other.
predicting northwest winds 38 to 52 knots,
The first wave is 30 feet high.
with gusts to 60 knots.
It rolls over the deck house, across the spar deck, toward the front of the ship, and pushes the bow into the water.
Waves 8 to 16 feet.
Before you can recover, the second wave hits. It's larger than the first. The angle of inclination into the water increases.
At 0700 hours, Fitzgerald reported winds at 35 knots.
As the angle into the water increases, the 26,000 tons of taconite pellets in the cargo hold begin to slide forward.
Overcast, visibility 2 to 5 miles in continuous moderate rain.
As the nose of the ship fights to right itself, the third and largest wave,
Temperature 41 degrees.
the size of a 4-story building,
Waves 10 feet.
hit the ship. The nose buries itself into the lake, and the ship, still under power, submarines to the bottom. The taconite pellets rush forward with such force that it severs the ship into 2. The men are swallowed by the water.
The 0700 report was the last weather report received from Fitzgerald.
The 3 sisters are kind. They take you quickly. Within 10 seconds, the ship had settled into the mud, deck lights still shining. At Duluth Superior, another freighter is being loaded.
By 0100 hours on 11 November, the effects of the severe storm abated on Lake Superior.
I crewed the Fitz for 7 years. She was loud in the storm. Her metal had a scream like no other boat I worked. The boats I work on now get set up on a mantle somewhere and dusted off when they need it. They are frozen in time. There have been improvements in technology since the Fitz was lost, but technology is not the point. The point is, when the lake wants you, she takes you. She has a technology of her own.
When unopened are the weeds, the dew is lying heavier than sleep. I'll drive off all the crows from my awakening field. Every time my heart is dark and deep. Was a rover and was graceful in my step, skipping like a stone across the sea. I didn't fear nobody, and I traversed all the night, bore everything with calm and courtesy. A blackened will-o-wisp. Their eyes are like a shattered, broken glass, and their coming is old, and their coming is foretold. And the song they sing is everything must pass.
Fitzgerald loaded its last cargo at the Burlington North Railroad Dock Number 1 East in Superior, Wisconsin on 9 November 1975.
Fitzgerald completed loading at approximately 14:15, and crew members were observed replacing hatch covers.
Each of the 21 hatch covers had to be secured manually using 68 hatch cover clamps.
The first cook, 28, reported that his ulcer had not improved. He was replaced for this trip by a temporary cook, 62.
There were no unusual incidents or occurrences.
The cadet, 22, was one trip away from completing the 270 sailing days required by the Great Lakes Maritime Academy.
This appeared to be a routine loading and unloading.
The captain, 60, and the first assistant engineer, 47, were making their final trips before retirement.
And on the shores of Lake Superior, it was Indian summer.